to have it work. You can get it for a week, a month. It's not really expensive, but you pay maybe $100 to use it for a week. And then the way the phone, depending on the phone you buy, some phones only use text, some use voice, some they have different things. But that's your communication in case you get in a dangerous position, dangerous spot. One of the hikers was saying he had a satellite phone, but then he also had another device in case he had to alert that he needed help. It'd be good to have if you're in an airplane or something, and like these Piper Cubs, and they're flying across country, and when they crash or run out of gas, up in happens in the desert, and they can't communicate to anybody. Those phones are excellent to have. They had a situation. There was one. It was years ago. I remember because it was a sad situation. It was about people, and they were in a snowstorm. I think in the Midwest somewhere. But the two people were on drugs. They're taking some kind of methamphetamine or cocaine or something, and they didn't know where they were. They could see where they were, but they could not. They were lost, and they're running out of gas, and it was freezing cold, and they're in the city boundary somewhere. And they kept on talking on the phone, but they didn't know. They couldn't tell people exactly the coordinates. I guess the phone didn't have a satellite capability, but they ended up dying. I think frozen or something like that. Out of control. Millions of animals have died. It's just awful. They can't control it. It's so hot over there. It's so dry, and the fire season hasn't even or just starting now. It's completely a mess. They have it on the news, on national news, every few days. They have people going in the ocean. They have to go to the ocean so they won't get all burned up. You know that? Yeah, it's terrible. It's climate change.
I told you a story. A beast stalks us, hunts us in the night, and only the Witcher can shake us from this nightmare.
We have been here before. We watch your petty world slumbering. You cannot defy the call of the master.
You know, that trailer really makes the elves in this look evil, doesn't it? Oh, it's just funny since the elves were trying to rescue the humans from their dying planet. They completely reversed it for the game and had the elves have to die in planet. We're trying to kill all the humans so we have no place to live. The human world was in an apocalypse and the elves were trying to rescue them and keep them alive. Oh, they reversed it so bad from what it was in the novels. One of the many things I did not expect to find when I read the novels. Yeah. Ladder bug crash occurred back there. We may have to go back to an older save file. Sooner or later, the ladder bug will annoy me enough that I try to find a bug fix for it. It hasn't yet. It's never seriously messed anything up to the point where it's like, yeah, we need to fix this.
The Witcher's contact in Velen was to be Henrik, the Emperor's spy. Henrik was operating incognito in that
They're usually just
plan. His mission
reload and save and reload usually fixes it.
when Geralt arrived too late.
Any of the game's numerous bugs where you can save, reload, and it goes away. I haven't bothered to fix any of those because
Geralt read them and knew that Ciri had been a guest of the Bloody Baron.
saving and reloading doesn't bother me. It bothers people, though. I've discovered that. There's lots of things that bother me, and I have to fix them. But that's not one of them. But you see it on Nexus, where whenever somebody wants a bug fix for this is a bug in the vanilla base game. It's not caused by mods. It's a bug that is just always in the game. And so there's a lot of requests for a bug fix for the ladder bug. And everybody always just has this answer of, no, just save, reload, save, reload, save, reload, save, reload. And people are like, but I want a bug fix. Tragedy, people get mad and they'll lash out at the mod makers and they're like, well, you're just being mean. You don't want to create a bug fix. Well, that's not an easy thing to create a bug fix for. That it's a mesh load error. That's not easy to create a bug fix for. Some bug fixes are really easy. That's not one of the easy ones.
That I ought to be looking about for giant jars holding my siblings.
Yeah. Every time we get near that ladder, it's one of the ladders affected by it. So we just go back to an older save file. That's all we have to do. That's why, if you notice, because I was talking to Ben, so I wasn't talking to you guys. When we got to that ladder, I stopped and made a save point before we went down the ladder. That was why I did that, because I was aware this is an area where that happens. There's about 5 different places where that happens. So it should be this. Yeah, it's this one. Not that one.
Witcher's contact in Velen was to be
So all the loot and mushrooms and stuff we just picked. Lose all that, but
his mission.
that's fine. It's annoying to have to lose progress and stuff when you're playing a game. However, I also look at it as, you know what, it's just a game. It's not anything that important. It's no big deal to redo it. I think a lot of people have trouble with that, 'cause I see people have total meltdowns. This game, Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Fallout 76, those games are so bugged out. And I notice it more with those games because I watch people play those games. Those are all games that I play. So I watch other people play them. And I know you never see me stream the other games. It's only this one. I play all kinds of other games, but it's just, this is the one we always stream. And so I watch people who are playing these games, and I see people do so much rage quitting when they encounter a bug in the game and they lose progress. And I've never understood that. I think the thing is, I've had enough real world shit happen to me. I mean, I've had members of my family murdered, and you can't get much worse than that. And so I know that, yeah, in the real world, there is some major crap happening. And that stuff is stuff to have a meltdown about. But this is a game. It's, you know, a game is a way to try to de-stress from the real world shit that's happening, and there's no reason to have a meltdown over it because
I'm sorry,
it's just a
but I
game.
must get to Drowned
It's
Rock
not
as
something
fast as possible.
important, so it's not something to get mad over. And I think that's my thought process when I see these people who rage quit over games, and I'm like, wow, you have clearly never had shit happen to you in real life. If you can get that mad over a game, you don't know what problems are.
He seems to have finished.
That's just the way I look at it. It's like, Boise, you need to get out and get a life if you can get that mad over a game, something that is not important. Clearly, you've never had any type of real world major issue. You've never had members of your family murdered. You've never had to deal with FBI investigations. You've never had to deal with murder trials in court. You don't know what real world shit is if you are having a meltdown over a game. Consider yourself lucky and blessed if the only thing you have to have a rage about is a game crashing. I have had so many people ask me, say, your game crashes all the time, it's constantly doing it. How do you not get mad at it? And it's just a game, it's not worth getting mad about. That's why I don't understand these people who get worked up over Syria and they show up in my chat and they go psychotic, toxic, total, crazy meltdown, and I'm like, it's a fictional character. You need to get a real girlfriend. That's what you need. There's something wrong with you if you can act like that over a fictional character because they're not real and you need psychiatric help because it's clear you don't know they're not real. And that is why you see me playing the game the way I do, where it's considered an action-adventure game, and we have a very kind of not action, not adventure, very laid-back, let's explore the world and relax method of playing the game. It's because I am playing the game as a way to therapy, I think you would call it, because life is very stressful and I need a way to de-stress, and riding a horse and picking flowers in a game, that's very relaxing for me. So that's what we're doing. Worst one I ever saw was that guy that he got so wound up. What was it he was doing? It was the Witcher game. It was Scurvers. That's what it was. I was trying to remember, where was he in the game? The Blood and Wine quest that you do, the very first Blood and Wine quest you do, after, you know, the giant with the windmill, and then you follow the knight down to the river and you get attacked by Scurvers there while you're trying to help him investigate murder. It was there. These Scurvers came out and attacked him. And he died. And the Scurvers came out and attacked him again, and he died again. Well, the problem was his armor was 0. And his sword was 0. He hadn't repaired the armor and he hadn't repaired the sword in a really long time. So if you hover over your sword, it gives you, see, it says 100% on mine. I've got the bonus where it never goes down, so I don't have to repair them anymore. And if it goes, like this one says 67%, and it's 333 armor. It provides you with 355 protection if it's at 100%. If it's at 67%, it provides 67% of 355. If it's at 0%, It provides 0 protection. Even if that number says 355, if that's 0%, that is also 0. So you're getting 0 protection if your repairs are 0. And the same with the swords. The swords, again, I've got a mod that changes what the swords tell you, so some of them are not telling you anything. This one. This sword does 638 damage if it's at 100%. Right now, this sword is doing 69% damage, so 69% less than that. If it was 0, that means you hit for 0 damage. So if you normally hit 638 damage every time you hit a monster, but now your sword says 0, you're doing no damage to that monster. So you hit the monster, 0 damage. Hit the monster, 0 damage. If your sword says 0%, you are doing 0 damage. And that's what the issue was with this guy. He hadn't repaired his sword or his armor in a really long time, and they were both at 0%. So these scurvers were attacking him, and he just kept dying. And this went on for about 2 hours of he died, came back, died, came back, died, came back. And he was getting madder and madder and madder. And I don't know why he didn't stop and look and see. Maybe he needed to fix things. Maybe you need to take some potions. Maybe you need to upgrade something. Maybe you need to repair something. But he just kept getting madder and madder and madder. And all of a sudden, he just exploded. I've never seen anything like this for a streamer. He just went wild. He picked up his keyboard and he started slamming it on the table. He broke it right in half. He broke his keyboard completely in half. He's slamming it on the table and he's screaming and screaming and screaming. He's working himself into a frenzy and he goes crazy. He takes up his cell phone and he slams his cell phone across the room and he's screaming and yelling and screaming and yelling, and then he slams his hand right through the computer screen. And then the stream ended because, obviously he smashed his computer and the stream ended. He went total meltdown. I've never seen anybody rage quit so bad.
Very funny.
I was, wow. Oh. I don't know if he was on something or what. It was a really over-the-top reaction. This was a guy I'd seen have really wild reactions like that before. He always did. I think a lot of people watched him for that because, yeah, he hit some really wild reactions sometimes. But that was the worst one I've ever seen. He smashed his computer to pieces. Yeah, he was offline for, 2 weeks because he had to get a new computer. He smashed his computer. He had to get a new computer. It's like, it's just a game. You did multiple thousands of dollars of damage because you died in a game. I don't get it. It is a common trend, though, to see people get worked up, which is, again, like I said, why I had to shut chat off, because I don't like people like that. I don't like aggressive people. I don't like people who are mean and violent. I don't like people who break things and smash things and hurt people. I grew up with some very violent, abusive men, and I'm away from them, and I don't want to be near anybody who is like that ever again. And extremely violent, aggressive, toxic people showed up in my chat. And the worst of them showed up at my house with a gun. Because he was mad because I wouldn't stop playing the game as Avallac'h. Because Siri was his wife, and I couldn't have him have an Avallac'h with Siri, and he had to kill Avallac'h, and he couldn't kill Avallac'h because it was in my game, so he had to come here and kill me in order to stop. And I was like, how many levels of insanity do you have? I go, what the hell? It's a game. They're fictional characters. How does your brain do that? God. That was when you saw chat go off. It was. Well, you guys saw him show up at my house because he did it while we were live streaming. I mean, you saw it happen.
What kind of spell is that?
That was when I turned chat off because I was like, you know what, I don't want to deal with these people anymore. I mean, he was the last straw. It's just, I'm fed up with this. 10 people in my family were murdered. And I'm playing this game because I'm having a really hard time dealing with that, and I need to get away from stress. So I don't need jackasses like that showing up in my chat and then coming to my house. God. You can't be a calm, sane, rational person. I don't want you in my chat. I don't want to deal with these crazy, obsessive, violent, toxic people who are just... They belong in straitjackets. I question, what type of mental problem do these people have that they can't tell the game is fictional? It also makes me wonder, where are their parents? Why aren't their parents teaching them the difference between real and fictional? Because sometimes it looks like these people are really young. You can tell that some of the stuff they say, like their phraseology, their grammar, they look like they're 8 or 9 years old by the way they talk. And that is the age group that would have difficulty telling that, yeah, these aren't real characters. But then at the same time, they are really, really, really violent. They're posting death threats. They're screaming, deserve to be raped. And I'm like, well, on one hand, they sound like they're 8 or 9-year-olds. On the other hand, these sound like adult men who have some serious aggression issues. And they can't find a real woman to pound on in real life, so they're going to attack female streamers on Twitch. Which was the case with the guy that showed up. I mean, the police identified him. Turned out he lived only 14 miles away, which was why he recognized, oh, I know where she lives. I've seen her around town. Why he knew where I was. He was 31 years old. He just wasn't a young guy. This was, it was a young guy, but it wasn't a kid. He was 31 years old. Guy showed up at the house with the guy. He's the one who was screaming, Siri's my waifu. He fully, totally believed he was married to Siri. I'm like, you're real? Siri's not? What's wrong with you? He's in jail now, obviously. That's why you don't see him on Twitch anymore. We left our horse back there somewhere, didn't we? How far back did we leave our horse?